Just one voice singing in the darkness. All it takes is one voice singing so they hear what's on your mind. And when you look around, you'll find there's more than one voice singing in the darkness, joining with your one voice. Each and every note another octave, hands are joined and fears unlocked. If only one voice would start it on its own. You need just one voice facing the unknown, and then that one voice would never be alone. It takes just one voice. If one voice could start it on its own, it takes just one voice facing the unknown, and then that one voice would never be alone. It takes that one voice, just one voice, singing in the darkness. All it takes is one voice. Shout it out and let it ring. Just one voice. It takes that one voice, and everyone will Going back today, folks, it just takes one voice and one vision. That's what it's all about. And everyone will sing. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate that. One voice, one vision, and one dream. That's all it takes to change the world. Every one of us has got a voice, and the next voice that could be responsible for starting a change in this world could be your voice. I want to thank Mr. Weisel for inviting me here today. It's truly a pleasure to be here. Before the day is over, I will almost certainly have offended somebody. I'm going to warn you in advance. People get a little bit nervous when I start to speak. Actually, people get a little bit nervous anytime I open my mouth, period. But, yes, I will almost certainly have offended somebody because I'm going to shake up and turn upside down what you know and things that you have held dear. But hopefully I can make an impact. Hopefully it will mean something to you, and hopefully it will change your life. Now, first I'm going to tell you what we're not going to do today, all right? We're not going to just have a typical speech about blindness. Mr. Weisel told you, and here's the blindness speech in a nutshell. You ready for this? I am blind. I've been blind since the age of 3, and I have to do things differently because I am blind. There's the blindness speech. What do you think? All right, good. Now that's over. I have much more to share with you than that. So we're not going to waste time on that. Here's the other thing we're not going to do today. We're not going to do the typical speech that every school hears. What we call the stump speech. You know, the stuff that everybody tells you. You've already heard it. Stay in school. How many times have we heard that? That's right. Absolutely. Don't do drugs. How many times have we heard that? Absolutely. You all know the sayings all right too, right? You know, hugs not drugs, crack is whack, all that good stuff, you know. I heard them since I was a little kid. I'm telling you that back in in like probably first grade, they're starting in the famous line, just say no. Somebody wants you to drink alcohol, they say, just say no. Somebody wants you to do anything you're not comfortable with, just say no. So I took it to heart. You know, I got home that day and my mother said to me, clean your room, son. Well, I looked at her and I just said no. And that went over really well. Let me tell you, I still have the scars to prove it. But, so we're not going to do that today. We're not going to insult your intelligence because you've already heard it all. What we're going to do is to try to make an impact. We're going to help you to become the people that you can be. And we're going to set you on a course to changing the world. Now, that's a small order, right? Just change the world, sure. Okay. Well, we can at least try. You know, we can make an impact anyway. And I'm going to share with you three things. Three things that I've learned that have changed my life. And I hope they'll change yours. So you ready? All right. Someone's ready. Here we go. Point number one, ladies and gentlemen. Those people who teach us, who guide us, who lead us through our lives, can sometimes be wrong. You're very kind. Look, not everything is so just because somebody with more experience, somebody with more authority, somebody with more life under their belt says that it is so. You're going to have all kinds of people influencing you throughout your life. And that's not always bad. We start out as children, and our biggest influence is our parents, or whoever our guardian is at that point in time. I've got two kids. My oldest is 6 years old. His name is Carson. Yes, he's adorable. And let me tell you, he's one of the smartest people you'd ever meet. Not just smartest kids. I'm talking smartest people. I know that every parent is biased, but if you met him, you'd agree. Anyway, one of the things about Carson is that right now, he still believes everything I tell him. So, you know, we'll be watching TV and he'll see a commercial for a product that he's never heard of before, and he'll say, oh, Daddy, is that a good product? Well, if I like the product, I'll say, oh, yeah, it's great. You know, if I don't like it, I'll say, no, it's terrible. Stay away from that. Right now, everything that I say is gospel to him. But as we get older, that starts to change. You start to have more influences. You go to school. Now you have a new set of friends that influence you. And those friends are a product of where they've come from and their influences. And then you have teachers, and those teachers will influence you. And then as you get older, maybe you start to look up to sports pros, or professional singers, or athletes, or all kinds of different celebrities. If you've made the decision, or your family's made the decision to embrace some form of religion or spirituality, then maybe it's a pastor, or some kind of a, you know, spiritual leader that's leading you. And all of these people have come from different places in life. And all of these people have their own unique influences that have made them who they are. And that's great. And they're going to try to influence you. And most of the time they mean well. In other words, most of the time they're not trying to trip you up. They actually want you to be successful. But here's the thing. Sometimes they can still be wrong. They will tell you, this is the way I've always done it. This is the way my parents have done it. This is the way their parents' have done it. This is the way society does it, so it must be right. Black and white. Guess what? You're going to be surprised to learn, as you go through life, how little is actually black and white, and how much gray area there really is. And your job, for your own sake, is to figure out what works for you. Test the knowledge that you have been given. Test the knowledge that you've learned. Because what is black and white to one person may not be black and white to anyone else. This is hard, especially when you start out in school. I will never forget, in kindergarten we learned a song, and we used to do all kinds of hand moves and everything, and we'd jump up and down. It was a lot of fun. It was a song called Oh What a Miracle. And the message to Oh What a Miracle was just how special and how unique every one of us is. We're all our own person. We all have our own thoughts. We all have everything about us is unique and makes us who we are. 5 minutes after we got done singing Oh What a Miracle, we all had to be the same. We all had to get in a line up. Everybody had to say the same thing. At that moment, nothing. You know, everybody has to do the same thing. So we're taught you can be anything you want to be. But what people are really saying is you can be what you want to be as long as it fits into one of the accepted norms. People say, think outside the box. Unfortunately, what they're really saying is think outside the box as long as you stay within the confines of this much bigger box that I have set for you. People say, be yourself. What they really mean is, be yourself as long as you're somebody that I think you should be. And your job is to figure out what actually works for you. Every one of us is a different person. What's black and white to one may not be black and white to anybody else. I had to learn this very early on in life, because guess what? When you're blind and you're going through school, there's a huge amount of stereotypes that follow you. The things that people think that you should do or shouldn't do. And when I was in school, I had a lot of that. You know, it would start out with very small stuff. You know, somebody thinking that maybe I wouldn't be able to play a certain game because I couldn't see. Or people that would think that maybe I wouldn't enjoy watching movies because I couldn't see. You know, stuff like that. My favorite stereotype about blind people, by the way, is the one where people come up to you and they think that just because you can't see, you also can't hear. I always found that crazy, and they'd start to shout. You know, they'd come up to me, get right up in my face, and they'd say, "Hi, Matthew, how are you today?" I finally got wise to them, and I look back and I'm like, "I'm fine, how are you?" I said, "You know, why are we screaming like this?" "Oh, I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that." I said, "Yeah, I don't know why you did that either. My ears are working, we're working fine. It's my eyes that weren't working. Now my ears aren't working either because you screamed at them, fool." As you get older, though, the stereotypes get bigger. And they get more serious. And it becomes more important to begin to individuate yourself from everybody else, to think for yourself, to be your own person. Because they would start saying things like, "Well, Matthew, because you can't see, we need you to go to this 2-week or 5-week summer camp to learn how to cook before you go to college, to learn how to do laundry before you go to college." I said to him, "Look, I got news for you. I'm going to be in college. My laundry's coming home with me at the end of the week." But I said, not only that, I said, you know, I believe in independence, but I said, I can learn it at home. I've got parents who are willing to help me to learn the stuff I don't already know. I've got family, so that this way I can spend my senior year and my summer with my friends and my family. I don't need to go away to do this. Does that mean that I thought the summer camp was wrong for everybody? No. It just meant that for me it wasn't the right fit. And so I ended up getting my way on that and not going to the summer camp. And I actually had my parents' blessing. It was really interesting. I was raised in a very interesting way. My parents treated me like an adult from very early on in life. But the condition to that was they always expected that I would believe as they did, that I would do as they said. Does that mean I ever, never ever did anything that my parents didn't know about? No, of course. We've all done that. Even if you don't admit it to me, we've all done it. But all of the big stuff, I had their blessing. All the big stuff, they went along with it. Because they believed that I would act as they wanted me to. I had even convinced my parents to let me go to school for music education instead of what they wanted me to do, which was to be a performer. But partway through college, a time came when I no longer had their blessing. A little more than halfway through college, I had decided that I didn't want to be a music teacher. I wanted to be one of several other things. And the thing I wanted to do right then and there was to be a pastor. And in the college that I was going to, you couldn't learn to be a pastor of the denomination that I wanted. They didn't offer the courses on it. And the only place you could get the courses were online. So what that meant for me is that I had to change colleges. I had to drop out of college where I was going and begin taking these other courses. Why? Because I couldn't see wasting my parents' hard-earned money or my valuable time on something that I didn't want to do. Did that mean I never ever wanted to do it? I didn't know, but I knew that it wasn't a good fit for me at that time. And so I again approached my parents with my latest idea. And just as I suspected, it did not go over well at all.